What drives you to wake up every morning and face the day? This question, as simple as it may sound, delves into the core of our existence. It's about motivation, that invisible force that propels us forward, shaping our decisions and behaviors. It's the fuel that ignites our passions, our pursuits, our very lives. But did you know that motivation isn't just one size fits all? That's right, it comes in two distinct flavors, external and internal. External motivation, as the name suggests, is driven by external rewards or punishments. It's the fear of failing a test, the desire for a promotion, or the thrill of winning a competition. On the other hand, internal motivation springs from within. It's about personal satisfaction, the joy of learning, or the drive to overcome a challenge. It's not about what we get, but who we become. Today we dive into the details of external and internal motivation. Scene script. Think of a time when you were rewarded for your actions. That's external motivation. Now let's dive a bit deeper into this concept. External motivation is a fascinating phenomenon. It's like a carrot dangling in front of a rabbit. It drives us to act, not because of a personal desire or interest, but due to an external reward or the avoidance of a potential punishment. You can think of it as the if-then principle. For instance, if you do well on your tests, then you get a gold star, or perhaps, if you finish your chores, then you get to play video games. There's no denying the power of external motivation. It can fuel us to take action, to push harder, and to achieve milestones. It can be a great motivator for short-term goals or tasks that might not be inherently interesting. In a team setting, external motivation can encourage cooperation and productivity. But, like all things in life, external motivation also has its drawbacks. The problem with external motivation is that it's not always sustainable. Once the reward is gone or the threat of punishment has passed, the motivation can fizzle out. It's like running on borrowed fuel. It can get you moving, but it won't keep you going indefinitely. One key aspect of external motivation is its reliance on external factors. This means it can be influenced by changes in the reward or punishment system. If the rewards decrease or the punishments become less severe, the motivation can dwindle. Similarly, if the rewards become too predictable or the punishments too frequent, they can lose their impact, leading to decreased motivation. Moreover, external motivation can sometimes lead to unhealthy competition or a focus on the reward rather than the task itself. It can distract us from developing a genuine interest in what we're doing, and it can stifle creativity. External motivation can be powerful, but it is not the only type of motivation that drives us. As we navigate our way through life, it's important to understand that while external motivation can spur us into action, it's not the only tool in our motivational toolbox. Let's explore another type of motivation in the next scene. Now, recall a time when you did something simply because you wanted to. That's internal motivation. It's a powerful force originating from within, compelling us to act not because of external rewards or consequences, but because we find the action itself rewarding. Imagine an artist spending countless hours creating intricate sketches. There's no guarantee of financial gain, no promise of recognition, yet she continues to draw. Why? She's driven by an internal motivation, an inherent love for art, the joy she experiences while sketching, the satisfaction of seeing a concept transformed into a tangible piece of art. Consider a musician, practicing late into the night, fingers sore from strumming the guitar, voice hoarse from singing. There's no cheering crowd, no standing ovation, yet he persists. That's internal motivation. The melody in his mind, the lyrics in his heart, the passion for music that fuels his dedication. But like everything, internal motivation isn't without its drawbacks. It can be challenging to sustain, especially when external rewards are few and far between, or when the path to personal satisfaction is steep and fraught with obstacles. However, the strength of internal motivation lies in its independence from external factors. It doesn't wane with the absence of applause, nor does it diminish with setbacks. It's driven by personal satisfaction, interest, or the sheer joy of doing something. It's a resilient, enduring force that can propel us to keep going, even when the going gets tough. Furthermore, internal motivation encourages personal growth and self-improvement. It fosters a love of learning and a desire to challenge oneself, to step out of comfort zones, to strive for personal bests. It's a catalyst for creativity, innovation, and resilience. So while external motivation can be a powerful driver, it's often dependent on external factors, rewards that may or may not come, recognition that may or may not be given. But internal motivation, it comes from within, fueled by personal passion, interest, or satisfaction. independent of external validation. Internal motivation, though less tangible, can be a stronger driver than external motivation. It's the silent force that keeps us going, even when no one is watching, and that, dear listeners, is its true strength. It's time to put these two types of motivation head to head. Imagine you're a kid again, and there's a piece of candy sitting right in front of you. You're told that if you don't eat it right away, you'll get 2 pieces later. That's an example of external motivation, the promise of a tangible reward influencing your behavior. You might resist the immediate gratification of 1 candy now for the promise of 2 candies later. Now think of a time when you wanted to learn a musical instrument or a new language. No one was promising you rewards or threatening you with punishment. You were driven by a deep-seated desire to learn, to grow, to challenge yourself. This is an example of internal motivation where the drive comes from within. When we compare external and internal motivation, it's like comparing the sun to a candle. The sun, like external motivation, is powerful and can illuminate everything around us. It can be incredibly effective in getting us to do things. Think of how we spring into action when a deadline looms, or how we push ourselves harder at the gym if we know there's a prize for the person who loses the most weight. However, just as the sun sets every day, the power of external motivation can wane. What happens when the rewards stop coming, or the punishment is no longer a threat? What happens when the external factors that were driving us are no longer present? On the other hand, internal motivation, like a candle, may not seem as bright or as powerful, but it has a steady flame that keeps burning, regardless of external conditions. It's the thing that keeps us going even when there are no rewards or punishments in sight. It's what drives us to finish a marathon, to write a novel, to climb a mountain, not because of what we'll get at the end, but because of the personal satisfaction and growth that comes from the journey. External motivation can be a powerful tool for influencing behavior, no doubt, but it's often tied to specific conditions and can be fleeting. It can get you started, but it might not be enough to keep you going in the long run. Internal motivation, though, is a deep well that we can draw from time and time again. It's not dependent on external factors, and it's driven by personal fulfillment, making it a more sustainable source of motivation. That's not to say that one is inherently better than the other. They both have their roles to play. External motivation can be a great way to kickstart a new habit or project, while internal motivation is what helps us stick with it, even when the going gets tough. As we can see, both types of motivation have their place, but they lead us in different directions. So why do we often hear that internal motivation is better than external motivation? It's a question that's been asked time and time again. The simple answer: internal motivation is more sustainable and has a profound impact on personal growth. You see, internal motivation comes from within. It's driven by an individual's personal interests, values, and goals. This means that it's not reliant on external rewards or recognition, which can be fleeting or inconsistent. This kind of motivation is self-sustaining. It's like an ever-burning flame that keeps us moving forward even when times get tough. Moreover, internal motivation fosters personal growth and self-fulfillment. It encourages us to pursue our passions and develop our skills regardless of external factors. It cultivates resilience, allowing us to bounce back from failures and setbacks, and to persist in the face of adversity. Internal motivation, with its deep-rooted and long-lasting benefits, often outshines external motivation. It's the driving force behind sustained success, personal satisfaction, and a life lived authentically. Let's recap what we've learned about motivation. We started by understanding that motivation can be broken down into 2 categories: external and internal. External motivation comes from outside influences like praise, rewards, or the fear of punishment. It can be powerful, but it's often fleeting and can lead to a dependency on the source of motivation. On the other hand, internal motivation springs from within. It's driven by personal interest, enjoyment, or a sense of purpose. It's enduring and self-sustaining, leading to a higher level of engagement and satisfaction. We compared the two and found that while external motivation can provide an initial spark, it's internal motivation that keeps the fire burning. We concluded with the value of internal motivation, emphasizing its role in self-improvement, resilience, and the pursuit of long-term goals. Remember, it's not just about what motivates you, but why. Embrace your internal motivation and let it guide you towards a fulfilling life.